Hello, everybody. This is Michael O'Connor with ServiceProfessionalsNetwork.com. Just want to say thank you for tuning in to Mic'd Up with Mike and Friends. It's going to be a fun Follow Friday. It's my fault for people jumping in a little bit late here today, guys. You know me, I never get on time and schedules and everything else. I am looking forward to this event for a few reasons. This is the first time I've got to talk to Laura. And Red's always a good time. And Bogdan, I'm sorry, coming back for repeat performance. So, I'm glad, I was kind of worried, guys, for a little bit because I didn't have any repeat people from last week. So I'm like, man, I must have been really offensive last week. But just to clarify what this show is all about. It goes across LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. I'm going to share it all over Twitter. I share the weekly links all over Facebook and everything throughout the week. These videos tend to get thousands of views. The reason why I do them, besides the fact that I'm a social media floozy and I like to get people to go to my social media channel and subscribe and maybe perhaps click my link over to my website, is that it gives people an opportunity to get online, get chatting, get in front of a camera, learn how to navigate a little bit. And not only that, but I like to connect people. So there's a lot of people that pay attention to these shows. I encourage everybody to come up, introduce yourself. You'll get 1 or 2 minutes. This week's a little bit light on people, so I'm not going to be pushing it too much. Everybody's going to get plenty of time to talk. Basically, in a couple minutes, tell everybody who you are, what you do, why you're doing it, and how they can build a win-win with you. Laura, thank you very much for joining us. I am not going to try to say your last name because I'm terrible at it. So please, by all means, take the stage, educate me on how to say that, if you don't mind.
Amazing. Thank you, Mike. Hey, everybody. I am Laura Flessner. I am an innovation and leadership coach. And what is that? Well, I like to work with people who I call are non-traditional leaders. That's women, minorities, introverts, those with neurodiversity or LGBTQ plus. And also I call it support functions, maybe non-marketing, because oftentimes in the workplace, they're not necessarily seen as leaders. And what I do is I help these non-traditional leaders to stand up, step out, be seen as leaders, because that was me. I worked in the corporate world for over 17 years. I was in the R&D field, technical, and I was really good at what I did. But I'm also a woman, and I am an introvert, and I'm Asian. Who's known, Asians are known to work really hard, but not necessarily be seen as leaders. And I also look really young. And so, which is really great as a woman, but it doesn't have pluses in the workplace. And so because of this, I wasn't really moving. I wasn't seeing progress. And when I asked what I could do differently for my management, they said, "You're doing great. Keep doing what you're doing," because I got a lot of really positive feedback. But that wasn't helpful for me to change what I was doing to be able to be seen differently. So what I ended up doing was I started my own project, a side project, and I pitched an idea, and I ended up getting president stakeholdership. You might hear my dogs in the background. I have 3.
Don't worry.
I got president stakeholdership, $1.5 million, and half of an office floor to completely reconstruct into an innovation space. And after the first year that it opened, over 65 teams used it.
Holy cow.
After that, people started seeing me differently. They said, oh, she could do more than just that technical R&D job that she was doing. And I wasn't a manager at that point, right? I didn't have any political power. So this is where I realized that anyone, anywhere can step up and be a leader and can show up in that way.
I definitely loved everything I heard there. That was fantastic. It explains a lot about your content. I don't know if you guys know who she is or if you've been following her on LinkedIn, but she's fairly new to my feed. And she's been hitting some home runs. Some of your posts have been doing really fantastic. And, I don't take this the wrong way, but you're very smart. And that doesn't always work for people when it comes to writing content.
Yeah.
And some of your misses in regards to engagement have actually been some of the best things I've read on LinkedIn. So, and we'll touch base on that. I hope you stick around and chat a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over to my man, Red. You guys may not know Red. He's been on one of these shows before. Not recently with just the mic'd up mic version, but I actually met Red by commenting on his beard one day randomly through LinkedIn. I sent him a random message saying nice beard. And since then, he joined the Service Professionals Network. He's become a part of my inner circle and a friend. But Red, I'm going to let you take over, buddy. Sorry about that.
Yeah. And I also, even before I talk about myself, I want to give Laura credit because the same kind of thing that Mike was saying. I love your content. I struggle with the idea of being smart on LinkedIn because it doesn't always hit that home run that you expect it to with all the thought you go into it. But I love the concept. I love the deep ideas. I love the introversion. I am a hide in the basement nerdy introvert if you can't tell from obvious visual cues. Full blown. Found my way into sales right out of college. I studied to be a history teacher as opposed to the other way or anything else, actually planning on going into business. Kind of sucked at it for a long time until I realized that I was getting the wrong advice. I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't, that I was trying to be this hail fellow well-met extrovert that I simply wasn't, and trying to push people into deals. Hail fellow well-met extrovert that I simply wasn't, and trying to. I don't know where I'm getting the echo from, but
my apologies.
There we go. No, I thought it was coming from me, but and once I started realizing that, it actually led to a full-blown like mental breakdown. And when that happened, I started rebuilding everything from scratch. I just completely scrapped the whole building and started it over. And now I'm working on building salespeople in a way that's emotionally healthy, that's focused on introversion, that's inclusive. Again, very much what Laura is talking about, and she's somebody who I really connect well with her content. We haven't gotten to speak one-on-one like this before, but I'm super excited for this chance. Yeah, and now I do broken salespeople. It's sales coaching, consulting, helping managers create spaces that are healthy, not just for salespeople, but also for customers, so that we could actually keep customers, keep good employees. That's really it. I'm actually just getting ready to become a speaker for Sales Revival Conference in November. I'm just signing that contract in the next day or two. So public speaking, working on a book, coaching, all of that kind of fun stuff. So putting my big Sasquatch mug in a lot of places.
Well, that's the name of the game, man. Even if you have a big Sasquatch, that's what drew me to you was that big old mug of yours. And yeah. I'm glad it did too, because, a little peacocking, like I try telling people all the time, you want to peacock a little bit, just be you is something that they told. I mean, Red and I obviously took that pretty seriously, with the whole be you thing. Yeah. Bogdan, I'm going to give you a minute to say hi. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing okay. Hi, everybody. I'm just here as always next to the mic. I'm in the HR field since I finished school, even before actually. And now I'm looking for something that I can work pretty much remotely because I'm having some issues like pretty much all of you know already. And at the same time, I can help you with pretty much everything that it's HR related, consultations. If you need a new employee handbook and so on, you can just jump in, send me a message, and we can go from there.
So, Bogdan, some people may not know, but you were actually brought to my attention by Megan Mitchell, who met you through Camellia, and you are currently fighting MS. You were recently diagnosed. You have a GoFundMe. We switched to GoFundMe because there was other issues on mobile with collecting on the other platform. A few people from LinkedIn have generously donated. Bogdan's a very nice guy. He had a ton of overwhelming amount of people come to me and say, hey, this is a real guy in real need here. He doesn't qualify for some things. He didn't have the life insurance, and nobody plans for MS. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Now, we're trying to help him raise a little bit of money, not for, a cure, obviously, but for treatments. That way he can live a better life. Obviously he's going to have some challenges that a lot of us don't face. But a few of us, if we can all come together, pitch in a buck or two, it can definitely make a big difference in this guy's life. So Bogdan, I appreciate you. Sorry if I put you on the spot a little bit.
No, it's fine.
No worries. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you chatting with us. Laura, going back to your nerdy self, no offense.
I appreciate it.
You touched on a lot of great points, and I got to learn how to turn off my mic when I switch over to Facebook. They should have that, speaker on. My fault. Tech guy, old guy, Red. My apologies. I'm trying my best here to figure this out. But Laura, got ADHD. I apologize. You brought up a lot of great points in regards to some of the things that you faced in the corporate world and some of the hurdles that you had to overcome. And we were actually talking about this in a private chat earlier, is that I say women, have some advantages. And I don't always, present the other side of the coin. So I'm really glad you brought that up, right? Because, being an employee, it's very easy to keep that person who's doing a really good job in that spot. And one thing I really like about what you do on LinkedIn is you challenge people to think about what more they can put on their plate or what skills they can build upon. What inspires you to bring that up to other people?
Well, I think in general, it's something that people don't think about. So particularly in support functions as well. And, we're just brought up that way in schooling is you work hard, and based off of working hard, you're going to get to where you're going to go. And so what people end up trying to do is work even harder. But the jump from being an expert to being a leader is not working harder. And it's about showing up differently and helping to move people towards the same goal so that you can all make progress together. And so it's no longer just about you anymore. And so that's what I want to help try to open up in people's thinking a little bit, is the fact that what you are used to doing no longer works. You have to think differently, and how do you show up and interact differently to really be a leader, which you can be wherever you are. It doesn't have to do with your title whatsoever.
The most brilliant things in the world that I found are usually the most things you can put the most simply. And that's very, very true, right? Like, you don't have to get resentful. You don't have to get angry. You don't have to stand on your chair and throw a temper tantrum. Trust me, I've done those things many times. They don't work, right? But what you're telling people to do, right, essentially, and I just want to make sure I heard you correctly, right, is think about ways you can change your perception, not necessarily at one time, but through gradual changes in effort and what it is that you're doing, right?
Absolutely. Well, because, if you want to do something differently, you have to be someone different. And to go through that shift is gradual. You don't just turn on a switch and all of a sudden you're there. You have to learn your way into it. And the best way of learning your way into it is starting where you're at. And that's the thing, is you can start where you're at. You can literally start showing leadership from where you are. And as you build that muscle, as you strengthen those skills, literally build those neural pathways, because that's something I also talk about, is how does the brain work in these regions. Then by the time you're actually in a position to lead through the organization, lead with that title, you already have those skills.
That's pretty cool. I really appreciate it. Sorry for the noise on the back end there, but that makes a lot of sense. And I quit my job and fired all my clients as a ghostwriter a few years ago. The one that kind of made me come off the misogynistic earlier in my private chats, and started a social media networking site before I really started to understand that. Right. Is that my frustrations and the things that actually led me to start SPN, right? I mean, part of there's many reasons why I did it, right? But I didn't know how to communicate with people that I wasn't appreciated in my role, and then I wanted more on my plate, right?
Yeah.
And it took me 43 years to start to understand that. And I think that's why I gravitate toward what you're putting out there on a consistent basis. And guys, I no offense to Red or Bogdan or anything, but I definitely encourage everybody to go follow Laura and put out what she's putting out there, because you know what, she will definitely challenge you to think differently and to think better and to ask more of yourself, right? Like, you can ask more from your boss and you can ask more from people, but essentially if you ask more from yourself first, they kind of realize that I have to give you more. Is that correct?
I love that. I love that, Mike. You put that beautifully. And because, if you create more value, then you're going to get more value back. You can ask for what you want, but if you don't show it, then you may or may not, and more likely not, get it. So people believe what they see.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I like about. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I don't know if you guys know this, but one thing I love about social media and hate about social media at the same time, equally with passion, is shake fists with one hand and greet with the other. Is that you can be anybody you want to be on the internet. You really can be. Even in these live streams, you can get up there and say whatever it is you want to say, right?
Yeah.
And people are going to gravitate towards you, whether you're fake or you're authentic. Everyone's like, be authentic, right? Because that's what's going to pull people. Well, you can be fake as hell and have a big audience, right? But what's going to give you fulfillment, in my opinion, right, is keeping it real and challenging yourself to grow. And what's funny to me is the yin and yang versus everything. When you first started off, right, you pretty much start, we're conditioned to work hard and it's going to come to you, right? And that's true, because it's kind of what we're telling you now is work hard, think differently, right? But nobody tells you the other part of that coin. You know what I mean? Like, nobody. That's why I love seeing about what you're doing differently and what a lot of people are doing differently. I mean, we are in such a blessed era of time, right? Like, even an old hillbilly like myself, I'm 43 years old. I never went to school for technology. I may have messed up this speaker thing, right? But we can get in here and we can communicate with the whole world, right? And then I can go and spend $40 and promote it all over the world 17 times throughout the whole week and then do it again, right? Before, I mean, you'd have to travel many moons and nights and days, to even get the word out, and everything was always the telephone game. My point here, and when you find a good leadership coach, or a coach that I use, a few coaches, some of them are my sponsors, like Don Williams with the Proven Entrepreneur, good sponsorship. Like, I thought it was a good time for a commercial. Go check his own. I'm not saying anything bad about coaching. Okay. Exit Your Way, Damon, he's another one of my coaches, also another one of my sponsors, right? Coaches are invaluable. Okay. But with all things else, you have to be able to put it in some context, and you have to be able to apply whatever advice they're giving you. And, here's a big and: you have to trust and verify. And there's always another and. You have to make sure what they're telling you and the way they're telling you to apply it is something that's realistic for you. Because a lot of people have given me some really great pragmatic advice, but with all the things that I do and the way I behave, it's just not going to be, practical for me. Right. So you always got to take everything with a grain of salt, everything with a filter, and then apply the best things that work for you. What do you guys think?
So, like, my thought on that is, just because it's great advice doesn't mean it's great advice for you. Two of the people who have huge followings, who have helped change people's lives, even if I'm not a fan of them, Dave Ramsey and Grant Cardone. Dave Ramsey says no debt, never have any debt, never have a single credit card, cut them all up. Grant Cardone says debt is your leverage. Who's right for who? It's just because it's great advice doesn't mean that you should be following everybody who has great advice. I read a ton of books, as both of you guys know. I could read 50 books a year, but sometimes it's better for me to implement one as opposed to know 50. That's the same idea that a lot of you guys are talking about too.
Absolutely. I love that, Red. And I'll add, I mean, that's why I have innovation in my approach into leadership, because innovation is literally about trying new things and learning through the process. And Mike, what you outlined of like, try it, test it, see what works, you have to see what works for you, because we are all different, as we are clearly very all different. And being able to lean into who you are means that not everything's going to work for you, right? It's going to be your approach. And so that's an aspect that I love to bring in, is when you're either innovating yourself, or you're innovating your role, or you're innovating a project, you have to continually test and learn and adapt based off of what you learn, reapply. And the new insights or the new learnings that you get from what you read, or from coaches, or from mentors, or other influencers, are really just idea sparks for you to go and try, right?
For me, like when you were going through that, the phrase that came to mind as you're talking about innovation was the phrase. It's my least favorite phrase in business. Is "we've always done it this way." As soon as you say that sentence, it means you're doing something wrong. If you're not trying new things, if you aren't innovating, that was almost the title of my book. Is we've always done it this way, because of how much I hate that. But yeah, you can't just stick to what you've always done. You have to change. You have to adapt. You have to put yourself out there and risk and start social media companies and leadership and create spaces like you guys have done.
Yeah, amazing, especially in the world today, right? And with things changing so fast, evolving every day, you have to put on that innovative thinking, that innovative hat, to be able to create the most value for just, everyone, whatever you're trying to do. And you have to continually to try new things, because the environment around you is changing so often.
So where do you see, like, just from a leadership perspective, coach, like, where do you see the biggest bottlenecks to innovation right now?
I love that question. Such a big question. Where do you
That
go
is
with
a
that?
great question. I do like that question. Sorry, I kind of left you guys to. I was enjoying the conversation, and I was following up with some of the comments, but that is a good question. Well, the
Yeah.
bottleneck, honestly, in my opinion, and I think it changes for everybody. There's so many, and it's kind of like the yin and the yang I was talking about earlier, right? Everybody's in the kitchen, so to speak, right? Everybody's trying to cook and help you cook your dish, right? And it's hard for me to talk about what I do without sounding pretentious, right? Like, I never want to tell somebody, oh, I get 1 million clicks a week on my website, because the truth is, I'm still not making a ton of money. My brother will testify to that, right? I'm far from rich, but everybody's got an opinion, and so many different people will be like, hey, this is how you get more clicks, Mike, or this is how you do this, or this is how you do that. Like, I'm getting 1 million clicks a week on my website, and I got people that have 12 clicks a month on their website telling me what I'm doing wrong. You know what I mean? So, like, you got to consider the source, and you got to weed through the stuff, right? And like Red said earlier, just because it's great information doesn't mean it's great for what it is you're doing. But Bet, how you doing? Can you hear us?
I'm going to keep talking so that we can make sure that her sound works. I'm just going to kind of blather now.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, how's it going?
I don't think we can hear her either.
Nope.
Yeah, I think it's the other way. She might be able to hear us, but
yeah, no, she's got to get everything. Well, hey, it's live, guys. We're just verifying people that I don't use a script, and none of this has been edited before. This is live entertainment brought to you by. No, I was kidding. Second Chance Water Restoration, because my brother's sitting right here now. He walked in. Now you can see his elbow in the back.
All good. Well, Red, to your question, for me and my perspective of a bottleneck for innovation, it depends where you are in the innovative process, right? For startups or new entrepreneurs, the bottleneck is, how do you get that real great idea? And then once you have it, how do you scale it, right? Because if you have an amazing idea, but you don't know how to create systems and processes to be able to scale it and create that consistently, then you're not going to be able to have that business and create the value at the impact and the size that you want to, right? And then if you're in a large business already, a corporation or an organization that's especially been established for a while, the bottleneck there is, oh, they've been doing the same thing over and over, just like you said. And so that's what they're used to. They're in execution mode. They're in risk mitigation mode. So the bottleneck there is, how do you break out of literally that type of thinking and those neural pathways to do innovation, which is about breaking things, about new ideas, completely new approaches, which takes a lot more energy, honestly, a lot more thinking, a lot more work than going through regular systems, right?
Well,
so it's encouraging
what you're
people.
talking about too, like in your scenario here, you also got to talk about the real world finances, the money, right? Like in taking the risk about it. So you'd have to be the person that says, hey, Laura's got a great new idea. Let's give this a shot, right? Like now you got to put your neck on the line a little bit, because if you cost the boss money, or if you cost the stockholders or shareholders money, now you look bad. So I think fear, I mean, ultimately, the biggest motivators in life are fear, money, or romance. You know what I mean? No matter how you look at it, right? You know, in some way, you know, those are the three biggest ones, right? How do I get more money? How do I get more power? How do I get the white picket fence? Or, you know, how do I not get squished by the big red barbarian?
You can't avoid that one.
Oh no, you're like ready for battle and stuff too, man. You got your shield behind you.
I'm just coming full off the top rope, like Hulk Hogan style.
You know what I like about what I'm seeing here in our backgrounds, right? You're prepared with your swords and lightsabers. She's prepared with your books and everything, and I'm just hiding whatever's behind me so you can't see it.
I assume that you just have a pile of dirty clothes behind the couch. Like, I'm just making that assumption now.
Brett, I hate you, but I can't disagree with you at the same time. I'm gonna make sure you don't get the pile.
Yeah, you have Febreze. It's fine. We'll take care of it that way.
Hey, you know, if more people just go to my website and sign up and start listing their businesses, you know, it's a free website. You can do free. You know, I got sponsors. You know, don't be a dick. Make a click. You know what I mean? I think
even before you promote your website, I want to promote your website, because that is like SPN and Service Professionals Network and people like you guys that I've met through it have been the biggest change that I've seen on LinkedIn from a networking perspective. You don't let me promote it for you here, because it has made such a massive difference in my business, just knowing people like you guys. So that should be the biggest reason for anybody to join Service Professionals Network. Be completely selfish and go join Mike's site.
I mean, you know what's funny about that, Red? You know, you guys are laughing, but you guys want to know one of the biggest reasons why I made the website? Because
I know the story, but yeah.
Well, you know the personal story, but one of the biggest reasons, and we're going to touch base on what Laura said earlier about adding value, right? Because she brought up a good point. I'm going to go back to that. But I felt like with what I know about hosting, and which is very limited on hosting, I'm learning more through this education that I'm paying thousands of dollars a month for while living on my brother's couch. But I felt like with SEO and what I know about networking is that I could provide value that people would want to use. Right. And I felt like if you provide enough value, people will come take it no matter what they think of you. Right. So I felt like if I could rank on terms like jobs, blogs, and other things that we're kind of currently fighting for, I'd provide more value. With what Laura said earlier, right? I used to get mad when my friends and family didn't just automatically sign up on my website. Right. It took me a long time to realize that people have things going on. Right. And believe it or not, I'm not the center of the universe. Right. You know, everybody's got like a full cup, plenty of things going on. Right. And then ultimately, no matter who you are or what you do, or no matter how nice you are for people, it comes down to, is the squeeze worth the juice? Right. Because if I'm asking you to come to my website and link up on it, there's got to be some reason for you to do so. Now, if I'm asking you to come back and spend time on the website, there's got to be more reason for you to do so. Right. And if I want you to keep coming back and tell your friends like Red did, I have to provide more and more value. And I think that once I realized that, and I stopped getting butthurt about the things I can't control anyway, and I just focused on the positive vibes and the growth, that's when I really, really took off. If you look at my website, the data, you know, Laura, you're going to learn I love data. I'm a big data guy, right? Even if it makes me sound like a creep, I'm going to stand behind the data, right? But
Absolutely.
I had, a million different, website pages, and, I lost 1.3 million or something, business listings, thousands of hours of data entry that I did myself, right? If that happened a couple of years ago, I wouldn't be able to emotionally recover, right? But with everything else I've been through, I'm kind of like used to trauma and used to it, right? And so I focused on, well, this time I can make the directory better, right? Because I did this, and this, and this wrong last time, right? And like, I don't want to redo thousands of hours of data entry. So what I'm going to do is focus on making the directory more organically grown by giving people more of what they want. So, like, I didn't go to a fancy school like Laura, and I didn't spend all my time thinking. I heard from hard knocks and touching hot stoves, right? So, I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but she's pretty smart. So go look to her content, follow her. You have a newsletter? You have like
I do have a newsletter. Yes.
Am I not subscribed to it yet? Have I been commenting on it?
I don't think you have been subscribed to it, but if you want to, you can go to thinkmindtap.com/newsletter.
Okay, we're going to make sure that we put that in the description on YouTube video. We didn't have a lot of people join us this week, which is fine because some weeks we have a lot of people and some weeks we don't. Like I said, everybody's busy. I'm not the center of the universe, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to put that link, make sure I get it. We're going to put it in the description. So when I go share it obnoxiously everywhere for the next, it helps rank, right? And you are actually on my website, but I think I made my account for you, your account for you. After,
totally did.
So like some people, I don't care how you get on my website, right? Like if you give me permission, I'll make the account, you know what I mean? Like that's what it's about, right? But now that you came on this show and I feel like I know a little bit more about you, like you're more real. I like it when I get to talk to people, right? Because before I'm like, this lady just thinks she's smarter than everybody, showing everybody these big words and fancy things, making my brain hurt. So you come on and you start laughing a bit. I'm like, I like this lady.
Mike, what you just said, as far as like that experience you had with losing everything, and you could have just totally focused on that and just crashed completely, but you took that into, well, what am I going to do next? And you took that into learnings to make something even better. And that approach to failure is so, like, it is key to innovation. That is what so many people don't get.
And I had failed many times before I got it. Trust me. I kicked jokes about kicking cat. Look, people, last time I made a joke about kicking a cat, I got in trouble. And the last time, what else did I made another joke? Oh, don't be a dick, make a click. I said that in a YouTube video once. Yeah. It's hilarious. I don't care. I said that in a YouTube video, and it was like a 3-hour YouTube video, and it had like 40,000 people watch the damn thing, right? And I got warning from Google not to say it again. And then here I am saying it again. They're like, you can't tell people make a click. It's like, I didn't tell anybody to click a Google ad. I told them to click on my site. There's a big difference. You know what I mean? I guess not. So here I am. I'm going to get banned from LinkedIn and Facebook and everything else today. What's ironic too is I got Laura on my show. Nobody's going to believe it. They're like, how did you get booted from everything? I'm like, I had Laura Fleshner on the show. I'm just going to stop talking. I'm not going to say that I did it all myself.
Well, we're also like advocating for weaponry, so that's done.
Hey, it's not like I have a mace and shield hanging behind me. She's advocating books.
I don't have a mace behind me. I have a flail there, though. So, like I do have a. Which side is it? I do have an axe. Like this was a anniversary gift.
Oops. I got this one for my birthday. So people send me. Yeah, my twin brother got one too. People send me weapons for my birthday, Laura.
I'm looking around for my weapon. I'm sorry, I don't have one to bring on the show.
You gotta be prepared for these live streams.
That was like my brother's default Christmas gift was getting me weaponry.
It's hilarious. My old house, I used to have lots of weapons everywhere. Just I don't know. If you ever had anybody kick in your door, you get prepared. Everyone has different trauma.
Yeah, it's just I like it as wall decoration.
Yep. You prepare with books, lady. I prepare my way.
Well, I mean, you prepare, like, you still read a ton. You just read, you don't read books, you read blogs, you read a lot of.
Oh, no, I got a lot of books I read. I don't know if you noticed this, but I did a whole book review section on my website. You know what's funny?
That, yes.
I didn't. So somebody pointed this out to me like 2 years ago. Is that Jeff Bezos actually started Amazon doing books before. and he had a quote. I'm gonna misquote the guy, right? But like it's the same line of thinking, is that authors spend a lot of time writing their books. So if I help authors get more people to buy their books, they'll get more authors to join my site.
Yeah.
And I said that to somebody a few years, and he's like, "Do you know that's what Jeff Bezos did?" I'm like, "No, I had no idea, but I guess that's how he started Amazon." Which is funny. Tina's giving me crap here because she knows that
Yeah.
I like to color, even though I don't stay between the lines, and I make lots. I got in trouble once for a crayon joke too. I made a kids eat crayons joke, and one Christmas on YouTube, I made a joke about the neighborhood kid wants to start a water balloon fight, so I'm gonna go get mine out of the freezer, and people complained. You know what I mean? But Tina, for as much crap as she's giving me here in these comments on LinkedIn, she actually wrote a couple book reviews on the website too. And then we tweeted them out, and then the authors retweeted them and got connected with her. So there's lots of different things. Hey, Ira Bowman, how are you doing, sir? Good to see you, Ben. And I think your speaker's on in the background, buddy.
Yeah.
Nope.
Also, like, just now that Ira's joined, make sure you watch his TED Talk. His TED Talk, like, this is the first time I've been able to tell you in person. Your TED Talk in Delaware was awesome a few months ago.
You know, I'm going to give Ira the stage here. Ira, you know the deal. You've done a few of these with me. You used to be my co-host on Speed Network and Mike and Ira. We definitely got to do one. You know, I'm going to start doing Wednesday nights at midnight if you want to bring that back to get the later audience.
I don't think so. Wednesday at midnight.
Huh?
Oh, maybe. I mean, you might get Europe to show up.
Well, you know, the Australian crowd's asking me to do one. So you want to pretend like we don't know who you are, introduce yourself and what you do and how you do it and how we can build a win-win with you in a couple minutes or less, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. Look, guys, this is how you do it, right? You come on in 2 minutes, you tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how you help, and then you get out quickly, right? So here we go. My name is Ira Bowman. If you don't know me, I hate to use this term because I really don't like it, but I'm what most people would consider a social media influencer. What Red was just referring to, my TEDx talk. If you haven't seen it, get on my profile and check it out. It's in the content creator. What do they call that? I forget what they call that at the moment. But anyways, my featured section, right? So what do? I run a company called Bowman Digital Media. And the whole point of the company is to increase visibility for business owners who aren't really good at SEO or not really good at social media. How do you get website traffic? That's what we do. We do it in 6 ways. I do social media management for the companies that hire us. We also do website development. We do graphic design. In fact, I just got done creating a logo just a couple hours ago for a new client. We also do photography. I'm a professional photographer. We do videography, so video creation. But a lot of it, what we do is animation and editing your videos for you. So you shoot the raw footage, and then we take it and we edit it and increase the production value for you. And then finally, probably the biggest part of what we do anymore is what's called SEO or search engine optimization. So what does that mean? You want to get discovered on Google. You want to be found in the search. We help people with that. So the 6 services are all designed to increase your visibility and to generate more website traffic. And look, I didn't even have the full 2 minutes. I didn't need it all. So there you go. Everybody's on mute, Mike.
Oh, see, I was just telling people earlier I gotta get better at this tech thing. I'm telling you, Ira, I do miss the Speed Network with Mike and Ira because you were in charge of the buttons, man. The show, we had intros. You know, I did have. Oh, look, I am gonna tease you though because I didn't. Somebody called me out on this, right? Which one is it? No. One of the banners has this typo in it, and neither one of us noticed it, and we were using it forever.
First of all, I have dyslexia, so I mistype everything. Thank God for Grammarly, because Grammarly saves my
Tina
baby.
Oliver, I think, brought it up to me.
Yeah, the credit wizard. I love that lady.
Yeah, somebody who manages credit for a living, notices in typos.
The fine details.
Yeah.
Look, I make pretty pictures for a living because I ain't that smart, okay?
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" I'm like, I steal memes and make fun of myself.
Yes, he does.
People get mad at me too. Like, you stole that meme. I'm like, yeah, so the person I stole it from. You know what I mean?
You want to know? Yeah, that's what's funny. Like, I had a client not to throw anybody under the bus, so I won't name them, but I had a client. He's like, you need to give credit for the meme generator. I'm like, the meme generator didn't create it either. That's just the
You know
latest.
how many people I see? They're like, got this image from Imager, or got this image
Yeah,
from
image
Google.
flip or whatever.
That's, yeah, I got this image from Google. That's not how it works. that's
A
not
meme. A meme by default is there. Nobody gets credit for it because it's been a. It's. I was about
put
to
your
say.
brand on it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it is what it is. I'm glad you joined us today, Ira. And I don't think I've got to tell you guys. Sorry, Red. I don't think I've told you, but thank you so much for mentioning me on a TED Talk. I'm going to be really honest. If I get a TED Talk, I'm not mentioning any of you people at all. I'm not saying a damn word.
He's going to be talking about peacocks. That's what he's going to be talking about.
Huh?
How to peacock on social media. That's going to be Mike's TED Talks.
You know, yeah. Only if they let me wear pajama pants. I told them, you know, I'm like, the only way I'm going to do you think I'm joking, Laura? Look, if they care about whether or not I'm wearing pajama pants, they don't really want to care what I have to say. So
yeah, it's probably not the right audience for you.
Right? I'm a peacocker. I
have a show for you, Mike, that I'm going to invite you to because it's uncensored. You could say anything you want.
Dude, are you trying to kill me?
No,
I'm just talking to subscribers. I just
it's a pod. It's a yeah, it's a podcast where you can. It's basically even X-rated. You could say anything you want.
Oh, come on. Do you know how many? I haven't had a good death threat in a while. Hey, people are looking to kill you in like, I don't know, like 2 years.
I did think it was hilarious that you got suspended by freaking Facebook for talking about fighting in a fight chat room.
Yeah. Dude, I just read on that you can only have 5 inciting violence things or something like that on Facebook before they kick you off permanently. I think I'm on 4. Like, one of them was like some guy was breaking into somebody's house with a gun, and my comment was like, "Shoot him!" He's like halfway through your window in the middle of the night, and you can just see his head with a gun. And the guy standing there is like, "Should I shoot him?" I'm like, and then I made a comment, "Shoot him!"
Now, in certain states, you got to be careful because when the body falls, you got to make sure it falls inside the house.
Oh, thank you for bringing that legality up.
I'm just saying, in a lot of states, they fall if you're in the window and they fall backwards. You get in trouble.
I hope you're learning something here about influencers, Laura. You know, this is why I say some of the things I say.
I say, well, thankfully my door is closed, so my kids aren't hearing. But you know, whatever. Like,
I'm just talking about the legalities here. I'm not talking about doing.
Do you know how many people call me and they're like, "Hey, my kids are in the car, earmuffs, right?" Like, you called me.
I've done that.
Hey, who did you call? Right.
First of all, I've done that. So, and one time,
you're the only person I actually call though.
One time it was my mother, and I'm like, "Hey, my mom."
I liked her. She was fun.
I know, my mom likes you too, Mike. So there you
go. Yeah, so a little context, people. He was taking her to the airport, right? And he's like, "Oh, I got a 47-minute car ride to the airport." I'm like, "Oh yeah, who are you taking?" She's like, "Oh, grandma." I'm like, "Oh, she's escaping, huh?" For like an hour, just
making fun. He did make it out alive.
Yeah, it's like you're making fun of Ira for an hour. Yeah, I know that lady likes me.
Hey, Mike, I do have to run, so I just want to say bye. I have to go to a kids' baseball game. So have a great holiday.
I appreciate you so much.
Bye, Laura.
Have fun with the kids. Don't blow yourself up. Remember, let it go before it blows up. You know.
Thank you for that.
Hey, you gave me some advice. I want to give you some advice. I want to make sure, you know, it's even a win-win. It's not just a marketing gimmick.
Always a win-win with you, Mike. You know,
something. Always something.
You want to win in social media? Make comments every day on Mike's posts. Watch what happens.
Well, you know, here's the thing, right? I've been a little bit. Bye, Laura. I've been a little bit lackadaisical with some of my replies and stuff, but Ira knows better than anybody. I take a lot of mental notes, right? Like, I come back and I mention people, highlight people, and I appreciate you saying that, Ira. But like, you know, the last like 2 weeks, I feel like I've been letting people down because I haven't been I've still been commenting back and liking stuff, but not nearly as much. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, here's the thing that people have to understand. It's gonna be, if you're going to swim with Mike or myself, frankly, because Mike and I think about a lot of this stuff the same way, because frankly, I've adopted a lot of his thoughts and I've influenced him a little bit on some of the way I think. But life has busy cycles or seasons, if you will, and seasons that are a little bit slower.
Ups and
So-
downs, peaks and
So
valleys.
you're not necessarily giving tit for tat, if you will, an even exchange, if you will, at the same moment. That's not required. Sometimes I front load Mike, and sometimes Mike front loads me. But what Mike knows is eventually Ira's coming to pay me back, and he's gonna even pay me more. You know what I mean?
That's why your ad's always on my site.
That's what I'm saying. We have a relationship that it's very rare that we're both in the same spot at the same time where we're giving each other exactly the same thing. And frankly, we don't even keep count.
Especially now that we're both getting bigger in different things.
Right.
You know what I mean? We both got
But what people have to understand is when you're trying to cut your teeth, a comment from Mike or a comment from Ira is not the same as a comment from you. And I know that can sound egotistical.
Well, it sounds pretentious, but the truth is the truth, right? Like,
yeah,
you
the truth
put
is
a lot
the
of work into developing your audience, right?
I have 199,000 followers on LinkedIn. I have 120,000 followers on Instagram. So when I come to you and I make a comment on one of your things, I promise you're going to notice a little bit of a difference, right?
Yeah,
So,
well, you know, people ask me why I'm so hardcore about things, right? It's, well, because I have to grow. I have to keep paying bills. I have to, you know, there's no time for complacency, right? And, you know, I was on some lady's video, Ira, YouTube channel, not to name names, we're not going to name names, right? But, you know, me, I don't do a lot of podcast interviews anymore for people, right? Because they either want me to be a script or I have to watch what I say or.
yeah. Here, come be somebody different on my show, please.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like I go on this lady's or person's show, right? And on her show, Ira, I was like, I'll promote this video, right? If you drop my link in the description and join my site. And she's like,
ServiceProfessionalsNetwork.com.
like, you know, we made a deal on their YouTube channel, right? On their show.
I still put your website link in every video I post on YouTube. Do you know?
I appreciate you. I gotta start. Well, I gotta start. I go. So what you're saying is I gotta go back and put Bowman Digital Media.
Did you hear me say that? See,
no,
this is how Mike. This is how Mike.
This is how Ira and I. It's a Game of Thrones. This is how he says, "Look, bastard, I'm gonna drown your army in the river. I'm gonna come."
Upmanship for helpfulness.
Yeah, you know, it's just a friendly reminder that, you know, he does things for me. I don't always put it back. So, I mean, like I said, though, I always got his link on my site.
You Project Telegraph there as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. See, I'm twice as cool. I didn't even forgot.
No. I love you, man.
You know, everyone who jumped up on the, you know, LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube, I'm sorry if I didn't show all the comments. I always appreciate everybody's engagement. Ira, you may think I'm nuts, but I'm actually going to start doing shows on Wednesdays and Tuesdays. You're always welcome to, you know, sync up with me off to make sure, you know.
See, I just assume I'm invited anytime you're on.
Oh, you're always welcome.
That's
you know?
what that's
everybody's always welcome.
You're like my brother. You're like my brother, so.
Yeah, if I put the link out there, you know, you can jump on. Everybody's welcome. You know, Red, I appreciate you coming.
Red, I like your background, bro.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about axes and shields earlier.
It fits.
I think we made Laura nervous.
You know, it fits his personality, so that's why I like it. And it's not a virtual background. That stuff's really there.
Well, you know,
I'm over virtual background. Can I just opine? I want to opine for just 1 second. Like, we've all been working from home pretty much for the last 2 years. It's time to ditch the digital crap that's happening. Your head is exploding and your hair is missing and your face is got. It's like, come on, dude. Now, I have a backdrop, but this is a real backdrop. It moves. Yeah. But the reason why it's there is because my background is distracting. So if I had something cool, if I was up against a wall or something cool, I would just have that there. But I have a shelf. I think you guys have seen it before. It's a bookshelf. It's like a case of Scentsy stuff. But there's so many different things to look at. It's visually distracting. That's why I have my backdrop.
Well, yeah, I totally get it. It's totally why I have the white wall behind me.
I think it's tan.
I got a yellow light on, so like the light's yellow or something.
What's going on with your hair today? Did you just take a shower and not put any product in?
No, I'm just naturally good looking.
You know I hate you because you still have all that hair, bro.
Yeah, but I'm also fat as hell and slow, so you know what I mean.
Well, I'm those things, and I'm short, so I look like a. You know. People
but you did mention me on your TED Talk, so I want to.
I shouldn't say this out loud, but my kids call me Mike Wazowski. You know, from the. Yeah.
From what?
That guy. I'm the ball. Remember that joke, Fred?
Yeah.
I was the most popular. I was the most popular choice in what was it? Dodgeball. Of course, I was the ball.
Yes.
Yeah, dodgeball. My kid's out there correcting me because he knows. That's what they call me.
Wait, the guy from Dodgeball?
No,
Yeah,
Mike
so-
was from Monsters Inc., the little green
Monsters
guy.
Inc. The little green monster. He's like the geeky assistant.
I've
So
never
you'd
seen
be
it.
Sully. You'd be Sully, the big bear, right?
Yeah.
That makes
It's-
sense.
it's-
People have sent me that before. I'm like, I have no idea who this
You're
is.
6'5", right? So maybe you got a little extra weight, but you're like a cuddly bear. I'm like the
Hey,
short.
I need this kind of recommendations and referrals on my Tinder or something like this. Do you do marketing for OnlyFans too?
Hey, let me tell you that this is my standard response now for anybody who gets a little bit OnlyFanish on me. I say I'm happily married. The little green monster. He's like the geeky assistant.
Okay.
So you'd be Sully. You'd be Sully.
Well, I'm glad to let you know. Hi, Daryl Adams. Welcome
Right?
to the
So
stage.
maybe you got a little extra
Oh.
weight.
I think you got to turn off your speaker.
Daryl is a Marine while he's figuring out how to turn his sound off. So, Daryl, what you got to do is go to the show on LinkedIn and hit the mute button on the show on LinkedIn. It's not the mute button here; it's the mute button there.
I think he's behind a little bit.
It's like the old radios when you would call in the radio station. You had to turn the radio down while you were listening on the phone, and then once you get off the phone, then you can turn the radio back up.
I don't
It's
know if
that.
he can even hear us from here.
He can hear us. His sound is on. His mute is on mic. Right? So you got a little extra weight. Daryl, can
Hey
you hear
guys,
us?
how's it going?
Daryl is-
Pretty good, man. Can you turn off your other window?
Or turn the sound off inside the on the LinkedIn.
Okay, hold on.
I think it's behind.
It's like the old. It's like calling the radio station. No, it's the opposite. Flip it. So you want to go into the LinkedIn window and hit the sound there. The sound is on it.
Or just close the window.
Or just close it. So we're about 30 seconds ahead of the broadcast, is what's happening because we're going through StreamYard and we're streaming.
You got any big plans this weekend, Ira?
I got nothing. I'm taking my kid. RJ, my 18-year-old, is here with me, but he's fine. My wife and my kids are.
Where's
all
he
up in-
staying at nowadays? He's in Texas?
No, he lives here. He just graduated high school. You're thinking about my oldest son, Chris. So this is my third child. So RJ just graduated high school. He's getting ready to go to school in Virginia. He's going to be going to Liberty University. But he's flying out to the Bay Area to hang out with mom and the kids and grandparents. So this weekend, I'm going to be home alone. You know what that means?
A lot of work.
24 hours a day, baby.
I think I accidentally kicked that guy off the screen. Daryl, I didn't mean to kick you off, buddy.
I know. I think he left. I think he's trying to figure out how to turn the
I
sound
totally
off.
hit remove, I think. It's all right.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and now I'm gonna have to kick everybody off because I think I'm gonna go conquer the galaxy for a few hours.
What are you gonna play? What are you playing these days? My kids are playing.
Dude? Okay, have you ever heard of Master of Orion?
No.
Okay,
Oh.
it's an old video game from like early 2000s, but you
That's
can
not
never.
old.
You can never.
That's why I
you can-
haven't heard of it because it's not old enough.
the 90s. Well, you can never play it online before, right?
Now you can.
And now you can play online. So I'm 2 and like 15 against my twin brother Pat, right?
So wait. So you're in a spaceship and it's like
No,
Battlestar
so-
Galactica?
No, you get like your first home world, right? And then there's like 100 different planets in the galaxy. So then you get a colony ship and you go from one home world to the next and you start conquering planets and eventually you meet other alien races and then you fight to the death.
All right.
Or you make trade treaties, you make alliances.
What game are you? Are you doing this on the computer? Or are you doing this on?
Yeah, it's on a computer. Master of Orion.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're not even sponsoring me. I don't know if they're still around.
I don't have free time. I don't have free time where I join you.
You gotta make free time. That's what we were talking about earlier. You got
Right.
you gotta prioritize.
Send me
free time.
the info, Mike. Maybe I'll take a break because literally
Everybody keeps threatening to come play with us, but nobody does. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
most people don't mention you in their TED talk, but I did.
Yeah, you know what? You did, and I appreciate you bringing that up too. I mean, how many people even get a TED talk? I told my brother about that. I'm like, dude, I was mentioning a TED talk. He's like, what the hell's a TED talk? I'm like, oh,
I told you I got invited to come back next year, right?
I can't win. You know, that's great. You know, tell me you know a guy. Red can do a TED talk. I'm not going. You know, what's funny is people don't realize this. I'm kind of shy. I don't know if I'd.
I actually reached out to Terry Bean because I like Bean. He's okay. So I
Terry
reached
Bean
out
is
to
a guy.
Yeah,
almost
so
think he's
because
months.
he's involved with the TEDx Detroit. So I'm like, hey, maybe I could, join there. And he goes, yeah, you don't live in Michigan, so they won't have you on.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, the TEDx is, for those of you who don't know about the TEDx are independently owned franchises of TED Talks. So every one of them has their own set of rules. The one that I was on was in Delaware, in Wilmington, Delaware, which is actually the largest. They have more views on YouTube than any other TEDx talk, which is why I wanted to go to that one, because they actually know how to do YouTube. So, there's value in YouTube, Mike. Did you know that? I mean,
No, I had no idea.
Crazy, right? So I went there to do that one, but their rules are usually where they just do local through the year, but that one time a year in April, at the end of April, they do one where they invite influencers from other areas to come in. And so that's the circuit that.
So what you're saying is I got about like 9 months or whatever to practice the speech.
Yeah, if you're serious about it, I'll make the introduction. And
you know what? I'll do it if I get 9 months to prepare something and think, because it's not something I want to do half-assed.
18 minutes or less, and you do have to be business language, so you won't be able to drop F-bombs.
I'm not gonna swear.
You could swear a little. You could swear a little bit, but
I think I'm right. I've been good today, haven't I? For the most part.
Actually, I will tell you that I have seen so much growth in you over the last couple of years, and that's one of the things I think that you do. Yeah, you do much better.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible on the phone though. So if you call me,
on the phone, you're a sailor.
No, terrible. Yeah. I wouldn't call me unless I wanted to have a lot of good humor and fun. And
I like talking to you on the phone, but I do. You're not kidding with the earmuffs with the kids. It's like seriously, especially because if you guys know me,
Bob Saget. I'm like, what?
You will never see me do this. I don't ever do this, and I don't walk around with earbuds in because I'm not 12. So it's always speakerphone. And Mike, man, when my kids are around, I gotta turn it off. Like, sorry, buddy.
Sorry, I'm working on it.
Hey, I'm a work in progress too.
Well, anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go play some video games with my brother.
Hey, go conquer the galaxy, bro.
I appreciate you, Mr. Bowman, on many different levels. Mr. Red, I appreciate you too on many different levels. I probably won't win this Galaxy game. He beats me every time, but it's gonna be fun. Good.
Well, what are you doing wrong, bro? Let's figure out your strategy, because there's a strategy.
He's terrible. So okay, one game, he attacks me, right? He takes over my planet, and then he sells my planet to a different race that's bigger than me, that doesn't have I don't have any bones to pick with him. So like he all in one turn, my planet went from blue to purple to orange. And then what do? Attack the orange guys? Now I have to fight the orange guys and him. And then another game, I attacked him because I was like 3 times bigger than he was. But it's because he spent his whole game making alliances with everybody else. So there was 8 other races in the whole game. So
you started some. Hey, Mike,
it's terrible.
Don't
different
start
ways.
Don't
won't be none. Yeah. I already know there's not gonna be. I don't take my own advice. You know this.
Hey, but in a game where the whole point is to conquer people, I wouldn't be too offended.
Yeah, dude, it's getting terrible. I have to win a game here. Yeah. Anyway,
so it's like Civilization in space.
Yeah, you have to keep track of taxes. You have to keep track of like technology. So there's like 3 different things you have to really keep track of: research, production, and food. Right. So if you get one guy, he can concentrate on either of those 3 things.
But
right?
these are standalone games, right? So you don't. It's not.
Yeah, it's like chess, kind of. You know. What I mean?
But you don't have to come back like every hour to. It's not like one of those farm builds.
No, we sit here for an hour or 2. We play the game out, play 100 turns or whatever. Sometimes we'll save and come back.
And you shut it off. And when you start the next time, you're starting from scratch again.
Yeah, or we can pick up the same game. Usually he beats me in 200 turns or less. So, it was pretty quick, Whatever. I'm not always a winner, just when it comes to stealing memes.
Yeah, well, we all have things that we're really good at, right?
Yep.
And then we have things that we suck at. I decided here recently that I'm much better at business than I am at being a dad and a husband. So
that's not good. Well,
it's not good, but at least I know it now and I can work on it, right?
Well, knowing you're going to put a lot of energy off into it.
Yeah. So. Hey, I already bought some books. I got this one that actually I'm excited about. I'm going to read it and then I'll put my review up on serviceprofessionalsnetwork.com. Disciplines of a Godly Man. So I'm looking forward to reading this. It was recommended by one of my friends.
I think you and I should have a chat on this stuff soon. You want to do like a private chat like Tuesday morning or so?
Yeah, and you have
Not
my phone.
necessarily this Tuesday.
You
but
have my phone number, bro.
No, okay, yeah, we'll talk offline, but we'll get a video schedule because I think I want to ask you some hard hitting questions. Get back to you for mentioning me on YouTube.
Okay.
You know, if you want to do this online, have a chat about it. I think it'd be cool. Some questions.
I am open to be vulnerable.
Well, you know, I ask you the hard questions. I don't mind. I'll sit in it with you and have the conversation for sure. But right now, I'm gonna go lose.
We're out of here. Mike has got to go conquer the galaxy. I got to go to the bathroom. Red, have a great day.
Have a good day with your exes, sir. Bye, everybody.